Today we are talking about something that is not so new, but it kind of is at the same time. So we're talking about a solo project that's come out of Brazil called Pacto Negro, which is it means Black Pact. Before you get any ideas, Mike.
Yeah.
Um, so
What do you mean?
so this release comprises of like a demo and an EP that was released. I think the demo was released on December the 9th and the EP was released on February the 7th. So I mean, very short.
It's not that old, is it
It's
really?
not that old. It's a very short space of time. The reason we're covering it today is because there is a physical release that is coming out on March 20th through Forbidden Files Records, which is like a Chilean label.
Yeah, South American, I think.
Yeah, focuses on like raw black metal. There's some really good stuff on there, actually, Mike. I was having to kind of flick through um,
Ooh.
some stuff that we've actually spoke about. But anyway, yeah, check that label out. Some good stuff. But yeah, so this is a kind of merge of the two because these releases were done quite close to each other. They do kind of feel like you can get away with lumping them all in as one release. It's just the fact that there's kind of like synth intros and outros that kind of like break up the flow in a way that you kind of like, okay, that's the first one, that's the second one. However, if you didn't know, do you reckon you could get away with thinking this was a complete album?
I did feel like I noticed a slight difference in production between the demo and the EP. Weirdly, I thought the demo might have actually been a bit slightly better produced. I don't know, but then it kind of makes sense. They were done very close to one another anyway. But you're right, song wise, yeah, it could have come out
As an album,
as an album, yeah.
there's some slight.
And he does everything, doesn't he?
It's
The
yeah,
guy.
it's a solo project. However, I believe someone else does the vocals, but all instruments and everything else is that guy.
He John, are they sequence drums? I can't tell. I think they are.
Oh, this is always the age-old discussion on this channel, isn't it?
I think they are.
Are they? Let us know if you know. I don't. I think they are too, but I'm not.
They're almost too consistent, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
But then there's parts of it where you hear like a roll kind of fill, and it sounds actually really quite natural. It doesn't sound as, but
processed
he's basically probably a pretty good drum programmer, really. Is what I'm guessing.
potentially.
Do let
Yeah,
us know.
yeah. Do let us know down below. Yeah, like you said, I thought I actually thought the demo was maybe. What I liked about the demo production was that the synths were a lot more front and center,
They were.
whereas in the EP they were a lot more kind of like sat back in the mix, and they were kind of more done for layering rather than like leads,
Yeah.
which I feel it was neither here. It wasn't like it didn't hurt it or make it better. It was just a difference, I guess. But I did.
But I did feel like the synths in the demo, they added a little bit of an extra factor to it because when they came in and sort of took over a little bit sonically,
Yeah.
it did make those sections stand out. And you're right, in the demo, it felt like in the EP, it felt like it was more there for another texture and layer. And whilst it did its job very well, I thought maybe the synths made the sound stand out more from the pact a little bit more in what he was doing on the demo.
Yeah, I have to. I agree with that sentiment, but it's a weird one because I actually think the production overall was probably better on the EP. I just preferred the synth production on the demo, but I think the
Yeah.
songwriting on the EP was better as well. The songs flowed a lot more. There was a couple of instances in the demo, which is like the first four songs. Um, there'd be a moment where they kind of just ring out and transition into something completely different, and it almost felt a little bit, I don't want to say amateur, but there was like a little bit like pieced together. There was a kind of disregard as to the kind of flow of the song.
Yeah.
It did feel a little bit like, oh, they didn't know how to get from this section to that section, so they've just paused and then changed entirely. Whereas in the EP, everything flowed consistently. Like there was no lull moment. It was just like consistently high energy, and I think that the progression in his songwriting was quite evident, and for the better, obviously.
Do you think though as well a lot of what can happen when you do these solo projects is because you're not in a room with a band as such playing, sometimes with transitions, could be quite hard to sort of naturally
Yeah,
feel something because you're not there playing it loud. It's like you have that more scientific, methodical approach to writing, and maybe that's the thing. And that's why it's a demo. It's his first ideas and stuff, and then he's evolved from listening to that and working out what he wants to do, and got better at it. Basically, that evolution really between the demo and the EP.
Yeah.
And even though it's done so short after one another, he might have done the demo, then immediately went into the EP and was able to kind of develop his ideas and just be better at it
Yeah,
overall.
I think that is actually probably what has happened here. I think that is I think that's probably what happened. The so like the sound, we haven't really ever spoke about what this kind of sound is. So it's like it's raw atmospheric black metal kind of earlier stuff was like synth led as well, but self confessed. He says carrying forward the devotion of the old times, and that is very much apparent in this. It leans heavily into that kind of like, I guess, mid to late 90s era black metal, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very melodic. It's not necessarily evil, if you know what I mean. It doesn't
It's
really.
cold.
I
It's
feel like
like
it sticks.
cold, but it's not evil. Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like the chords he uses, he sticks to like a more of a melodic structure where he doesn't really do much of the whole kind of, when you kind of then can drop down a
yeah.
fret from a thing, and then it changes the mood. I don't think he really he does that much. It's not really his sound. It's more kind of um melodic. And actually, I was just going to touch on when we were talking about the difference between the demo and the EP. I noticed a lot more pace changes on the EP compared to the demo. It felt like it was kind of largely just blasts on the demo for the two main songs proper on it, but whereas on the EP there was a little bit of a more of a bringing in slight, and I'm not saying it went really slow, but bringing in more mid tempo double kick kind of stuff, which I think was nice variations
I
between the
I
two.
think there were. I feel like there were moments on the demo that did sort of like slow down. There was a moment on track 3 where again it was that kind of dramatic shift where it all stopped and then like the synths came in
Mm,
and then it went really it slowed down a lot then, so it wasn't like as the change was a bit more drastic, but
yeah,
what I enjoyed was that like keeping that slow tempo, he did go to blast, but he kept the snare and the bass drum and the cymbal on that same like slow rhythm, so it still felt, even though he like picked up the tempo with the blast, it still felt slow in a way, and it was
yeah, I get what you mean. It gets like hypnotic
hypnotic.
and stuff,
Yeah,
and he did that quite well because you had those moments where the blast was going on for so long, and you had that kind of chord progression going round, and he wasn't afraid just to repeat
no,
it enough times that it had that nice hypnotic sort of feel that I like in the black metal sound.
yeah,
Um,
transcend.
so you think it's a different vocalist? Because I like the vocals. I thought they sounded cool.
What, between the two?
What do you mean?
A different vocalist between the two.
No, no. But did you say it was a different vocalist? From it's not the main. The guy was the guy who did vocals was different to the guy who did the instruments. Is that what you said?
I believe, yeah. I think it's a solo project, but there was someone uh, accredited called A for the, so like S. Everyone uses their initials in black metal, don't they? S does the whole
Steve.
Steve, yeah,
Yeah.
or Sandro, Brazil,
Right.
does the bulk of the stuff, and then
Yeah.
A was accredited for the vocals. So
Andy.
who?
Andy.
Andy Alejandro.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess but I don't know if they work together as a two piece or if like he would just write the songs and say
And he would
have the
add his
vocals to
vocals
them.
after.
Yeah,
I felt like his vocals were very they're very one tone. He didn't really vary from it, but I actually really liked the sounds he
yeah,
had.
yeah.
I like that. I like that sort of high kind of screech that he had going on.
Mike, what did you feel about the bass on this? It was very, I mean, black metal can often get memed about not having bass, like non-existent or too much. But I feel like this, it was pushed in such a nice way that especially when the riffs were played higher up the neck, it really gave it quite a warm sound.
It gave it depth. It wasn't it wasn't overpowering in any stretch of the imagination. Actually thought it was quite perfectly
Yeah,
balanced
agreed.
in there to give it that kind of impact. Yeah, I thought it was one of those things to me that didn't. it didn't stand out for me to really notice it, but I then felt that if it wasn't there, it would det it would detract from the sound quite massively. It would probably all start feeling quite thin.
Yeah, I thought it was really well placed. It kind of it reminded me of like old school death metal in a way. You know when they have that kind of higher up
Mm,
the neck, that finger played bass,
yeah,
or like a very early Greek black metal with that kind of that sound, but
yeah,
different in tone. Listen, this release, it's not breaking new ground, but I think for what it is, like for the sound that it's going for, this is like really good stuff. It's like you
yeah,
said, it is melodic. It's got a lot of triumphant tendencies as well, but without being that
mhm,
overtly triumphant black metal. There is still like a
yeah.
raw coldness to it, but the production did make it feel like warm and complete. It's just really well done, a really well done release, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. Did you have a standout song?
I think my standout song was probably track 6, which is the first real song off the EP.
DP.
Ritual Fenbre Envolto em Fogo, which means, Mike, a funeral ritual enveloped in fire. There was a
Nice.
moment.
Good
Yeah,
title.
it is a good title. There was a moment in this track that had a really like punk infused s- uh, s- moment, like kind of really stripped down, like kick snare, and then like
Yeah, I love
down.
that.
It was very downstroked guitar, really simplistic, but he hadn't done it on the demo. So when that came in for the first time, I was like, "Oh, this sounds really, really cool." Did you
Yeah.
ever stand up?
I did, but I haven't got the titles in front of me. So if I tell you the number, can you then read it
Yeah,
out?
go on.
Track 8.
Poco profanado,
That's the
which
one. Do you know
means
what it means?
desecrated
Go
pit.
on. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that song was great.
What the title of your one?
What? No, I'm not doing my one again. I think the songwriting on the EP was better overall. Actually, I think all of the tracks on the EP were. I could have maybe picked out a favorite on a different day. I really enjoyed track 8 as well. There was
Yeah.
th- this song, I think, was most apparent, that flowed perfectly through each passage to
Yeah.
passage. So it was really good songwriting.
It was very satisfying, this one, to listen to in that way.
Yeah, really satisfying. I even loved track 9. I thought that the energy of that throughout was great, and you had these really like triumphant lead lines. I thought, yeah, really, like I'm glad that we kind of were put onto this, because I'm interested to see where this couple, where an album would go next, because there's a lot of promising stuff here.
And it seems like a new project as well. And he's been busy, really, hasn't he? So it'd be interesting to see what the next year holds. I wouldn't be surprised if something else comes out later in the year from this.
Yeah, no, nor me. He sounds like he can get stuff out quickly, by this.
Mm.
So yeah, watch this space. Check it out. I mean, you may have already checked this out. We are a little bit late to these releases, but let us know what you thought of this one in the comments. If you did like this kind of content, give a subscribe. We put out videos every Wednesday and Friday covering the latest in blackmail, I guess is what we're going to say now.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
stuff.
and give a like if you like the content. It helps us out a lot, and we'll hopefully catch you in the next one.